After divorce, everyone tells you to reinvent yourself. Glow up. Go get your confidence back. Become a new version of you. But if you're being fully honest, it's not just your confidence that took a hit. It's your self-trust. You begin to second guess your judgment. You wonder, how did I miss the signs? You don't fully trust yourself to choose differently next time. And today, I want to talk about why self-trust so often breaks in marriages that lead to divorce and how to rebuild it through tiny daily acts of integrity. And I'm going to share a simple tool I like to call the new chapter anchor. Not so you become someone else, but so you can finally feel like yourself again. Let's name something a lot of women feel, but don't always say out loud. I don't know if I can trust myself anymore. It's not just I don't trust men, it's I don't trust me. I don't trust my instincts. I don't trust my boundaries. I don't trust my own voice. And for some women, that loss of trust happened slowly over years, while for others, it broke suddenly when something they trusted collapsed all at once. And both are very real, but when we look closely, self-trust often erodes in a few common ways. First, it's overcompromising. What starts as healthy compromise slowly turns into overriding your needs, your opinions, your instincts to keep peace or even keep the relationship. Second is self-abandonment. You feel the red flags, you sense something isn't quite right, and instead of listening, you minimize it. You explain it away, or you just stay anyway. And third is approval seeking. Your choices start revolving around, will this upset him? Will this create conflict? Will I be too much or not enough? Instead of asking, what's actually true for me right now? When this pattern plays over time, it makes sense that you walk away thinking, I can't trust my own judgment. Now, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just simply means your self-trust muscle has been overridden for a really long time. So here's what most people miss. Self-trust doesn't usually break in one big dramatic moment. It breaks in hundreds of small ones, moments where you learn that your yes doesn't really matter, your no isn't safe, your feelings are inconvenient. Maybe you stayed quiet when a line was crossed, or you made yourself smaller to be easier to love. Maybe you ignored your gut because leaving felt scarier than staying. And every time that happens, your nervous system learns something important. I can't rely on my own signals. I need to look outside of myself to know what's okay. So after divorce, when someone says, just be confident, it feels almost like an insult. You don't need a pep talk. You need evidence day after day that you show up for yourself again. And that's how self-trust actually rebuilds. Let me pause you here for a second. If this is landing, I want you to notice what's happening in your body right now. Are you feeling tightness? Are you feeling softening? Or maybe a sigh you didn't realize you were holding? That response matters because self-trust lives in the body, not just in the mind. So here's the reframe I want you to take with you. Self-trust is not a feeling you magically wake up to. Self-trust is a track record you build with yourself. Tiny promises kept daily, internal safety returns. This works because your nervous system doesn't respond to affirmations. It responds to consistency. Repeated follow through sends a simple message. When I say I'll do something, when I say I'll show up, I do. That is safety. And this isn't about discipline or self-improvement. It's about rebuilding internal reliability so your system knows you're safe with yourself again. I'll give you a real quick example. Early on, I didn't start by fixing my whole life. I started with one promise I almost didn't take seriously. And that was every morning before checking my phone, I stepped outside for just 2 minutes. And that was it. Some days it didn't feel helpful. Some days it felt pointless. But over time, my system learned something new. She listens. She follows through. And that's where self-trust started to return. These are what I call micro integrity promises. Things like I drink a glass of water when I wake up. I put my phone in another room for the first 10 minutes of my morning. Or the best one is I check in with myself once a day and ask, what am I feeling and what do I need? Now, two things here are important. One, it has to be for you, not to impress anyone. And two, it has to be small enough that you can keep it even on the hard days. And if even small promises feel hard right now, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It usually means your system is still exhausted. And that's information, not failure. And when you don't keep the promise, the work isn't shame. The work is honesty. I said I would do something, I didn't. Why? Was it too big? Was it actually not aligned at all? That honesty is integrity. And to be clear, micro integrity doesn't replace therapy, grief work, or support. It creates the internal safety that makes those very things more effective. Now, once you start rebuilding self-trust through micro integrity, something interesting starts to happen. The question, who am I now, starts to soften. You don't need to force an answer anymore. What you need instead is a way to stay oriented to yourself, to your values, and to the direction you're moving in, especially on the days when things still feel a little shaky. So I want to give you a simple tool you can return to over and over as you rebuild self-trust and your identity. I call it the new chapter anchor. Think of this as something that steadies you, not something that rushes you. The new chapter anchor is a 5-part compass you can revisit as you move through the next season. You can journal it, voice note it, or talk it through in therapy or with a trusted friend. So question 1 is, what is true about me now? This grounds you in reality, not in blame, shame, or the story of failure. You might write, I am someone who is healing even when it still feels messy. Or I am more honest with myself than I used to be. This question pulls you out of who you were and into what's real right now in the present moment. Question 2, what do I value most now? Divorce often reshuffles your values, so name them. Is it peace, emotional safety, honest communication, freedom, growth? When your values are clear, decision-making gets so much simpler. Does this align with my values? Yes or no? Now, question number 3, what am I no longer available for? This is where self-abandonment starts to end. You might write, I'm no longer available for relationships where my feelings are dismissed, or I'm no longer available for silencing my intuition to keep someone else comfortable. This isn't about punishing anyone. It's about updating your internal contract with yourself. Question 4, what boundaries protect my peace? Self-trust is impossible without boundaries. Some boundaries are external, while others, especially with co-parenting and shared logistics, are internal. So think of boundaries as the fence around your nervous system. They protect the space where your new identity is being rebuilt. Question 5, what is my next aligned step? Not your 5-year plan, just one step that aligns with what's true, what you value, and what you're no longer available for. Maybe it's booking a therapy session, having one honest conversation, or changing something small in your daily routine. What matters most here isn't answering these questions perfectly. What matters is that you return to them honestly. Every time you check in with what's true, what you value, what you're no longer available for, and then take even one small aligned step, you are practicing micro-integrity. And that's how self-trust comes back. Not all at once, but through consistency. And when self-trust starts to return, your next chapter doesn't need to be forced. It starts to feel intentional. So if you're struggling to trust yourself after divorce, I want you to remember this. Self-trust breaks through overcompromise, self-abandonment, and approval seeking. It rebuilds through micro-integrity, tiny promises kept daily. And identity is reclaimed by grounding in what's true right now, not who you used to be, because self-trust is what determines whether your next chapter is going to be intentional or reactive. Now, before you go, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, tell me, what is one tiny promise you're willing to make to yourself this week, just for you? And if you're ready to rebuild stability, identity, and a future you can actually trust, I invite you to apply for private coaching. We'll do this work together, gently, deeply, and in real life. So you're not just surviving your divorce, you're building a life that's finally feeling like your own. I will see you there.